What's up, everybody? Sutto here, and gonna try my hand at this whole motovlogging thing. It's kind of what got me into riding motorcycles in the first place about a year and a half ago. So I figured, why not take a crack at it? So yeah, my friends call me Sutto. I ride a 2007 Suzuki DL650, otherwise known as the V-Strom. Try to get you a look at it here. I also still have my first bike, which is a 2004 Harley Davidson Sportster 883 Custom. So I don't ride that a whole lot, but I do ride it from time to time. I'll probably do these videos from both bikes. I live in Tampa, Florida, so yeah, it's like early February right now, and I think the high today is supposed to be like 82 degrees. So definitely a year-round riding kind of place. So yeah, a little background on my riding, on my story. I started riding about a year and a half ago, a little over a year and a half ago, like June of 2011. Before that, I was one of those guys that thought motorcycle riding was crazy and suicidal and didn't see the point and blah, 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 blah. I don't have any experience, you know, I didn't grow up on dirt bikes or anything like that. But a friend of mine had been riding for a couple of years, and one day we were just kind of flipping through on my iPad, looking at some photos of bikes and stuff, and I came across a picture of a Harley Davidson night rod, which I'll show you the picture right now. Yeah, that's the photo that we came across, and I was like, whoa, that thing is badass. So all of a sudden, at least it kind of piqued my interest a little bit, and I started kind of reading up on that bike, and you know, watching video reviews on YouTube of that bike. And of course, with the way that YouTube works, I started off, you know, watching videos on the Harley Night Rod, and within 20 minutes and 17 clicks, you know, all of a sudden I'm watching moto vlogs and looking at all kinds of different motorcycles and stuff, and just all of a sudden had a whole different perspective on what motorcycling was all about. So pretty quickly I was interested. So decided to take the MSF course. I had never ridden a motorcycle before that. I had zero experience. So I talked to my dad and convinced him to come take it with me. He was kind of interested out of the blue as well. And so we both went and took it. It was like a 2-day, all-day thing in Lakeland, actually, which is about 45 minutes from Tampa. So yeah, we went and took the class. It was like an all-day Saturday, all-day Sunday thing, and then you were done. And I immediately went back after that, went to the DMV and got my motorcycle endorsement, put on my license, and booked a rental for that following weekend with my buddy that I told you had been riding for a couple of years. He rode a Sportster, and so it just kind of seemed like a good starting point that I would go ahead and rent one of those as well. So the following Saturday, I showed up at the Harley dealer at 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning, picked up my rental Harley, and proceeded to take it straight out onto the streets for the first time ever riding a motorcycle on the streets. Up until that point, all of my experience had been just those 2 days on the range on some little Suzuki 250s, going at top speed of maybe 20, 25 miles an hour. So after that, it was kind of a shock at first to get on that, what at the time felt like a big, heavy motorcycle with a ton of power and get out on the roads. But pretty quickly kind of got the hang of it and had a great day, man. We did, on that first day, I think we did about 130 miles when it was all said and done, just putzing all over the area, and I was hooked. That was it. I knew that this was something I was really going to be into. So pretty much immediately started my search for my own bike, hitting Craigslist and Cycle Trader and all that good stuff, and came across a bike on Craigslist, 2004 Sportster 883 Custom, which the custom just means it's got a slightly bigger fuel tank. Actually, not slightly bigger; it's quite a bit bigger. A little bit lower suspension. It's got forward controls instead of middle controls. Just a couple of little upgrades, and got a screaming deal on it, and it was mine. So within about a week and a half of getting my motorcycle endorsement, I had that bike and it was on. From then on, I was riding all the time, and that really hasn't stopped. To this day, I still ride 90% of the time. I have, like I said, I have both of those bikes. I have a 4Runner that I use when I gotta carry stuff around, or if the weather is just horrendous, but otherwise I'm riding. So yeah, I rode the Harley, just rode the hell out of it for that first probably year, about a year. I took some long trips on it, took it up to Atlanta on a couple days trip, and I just fell in love with the whole motorcycling thing. Pretty soon I realized that what I really liked about it was, in addition to just commuting and riding on the weekends and stuff, but one thing I really liked was hitting the road and kind of taking off for a weekend or longer, or even just an overnight thing. Obviously, the Sportster is not the best bike for that, although I was perfectly comfortable to ride it all day long, hundreds of miles. And I did that, and I still do that from time to time. But it doesn't have a whole lot of storage. It doesn't have any storage, really. So the first time I took it up to like Atlanta, I had a big tank bag on the front, had a roll bag up on the forks, and then I just got like a stuff sack, like a roll top stuff sack that waterproof that kayakers use and stuff. Strap that to the back seat and hit the road for about a week, and that was awesome. But the more I did that, stuff like that, I started to realize that I wanted to get something that was a little more suited to long distance traveling. I like to camp, and so I wanted something I could that would fit well for going on a weekend camping trip or a longer one. And so the more research I did, I sort of started kind of honing in on the V-Strom. I looked at tons of different types of dual sport bikes. I looked at the BMWs, I looked at KLRs, the whole sort of mix. But for me, and what I was really looking for out of the bike, this one really seemed to kind of fit all the criteria. This bike is a really good, like, jack of all trades. It's good on the streets, it's good on the interstate. It's capable enough that you can take it off road. Here and there. I haven't really done a whole lot of that yet. Like I said, I don't have any off-road experience, dirt bikes or anything, so. But, you know, it's something you can very easily even right now, I'm perfectly comfortable taking it down a fire road or something to get back to a camping spot or whatever. So, actually, as I was searching and looking for bikes, I came across this one. This one was for sale up in Chicago, actually. I had widened my search to that area because a friend of mine and I were taking a trip up there for a concert. We were actually going to see Roger Waters' The Wall at Wrigley Field last summer. So that was all that was happening around the time I was looking for a new motorcycle. And so I started looking at Chicago, and sure enough found this one for sale up there. And I bought it. Emailed the guy, lots of photos and emails and stuff back and forth, and just determined that it was the one that I've been looking for. So I instead of using my return flight to come back home after the Chicago trip, the last day when my buddy went to the airport, I went to this guy's house, took a look at the bike, decided, yep, looks good to me, and the rest is history, as they say. So the first day I owned this bike, I started a road trip from Chicago back to Tampa, and I'll have to pick this story up there in a little bit, so catch you later. And we're back. So yeah, long story short, the first few days that I owned this motorcycle were spent on a road trip from Chicago down to here, back home, and it was awesome. I camped along the way. And actually had, on one of the days, actually the last day, did about 700 miles from like Tennessee all the way home. So it was just a great trip. I was living off the bike for a few days and camping, and the whole thing was just a really cool experience. So yeah, that's kind of how I came to own this bike. Things that you'll probably notice watching this channel that drive me crazy are drivers that are playing with their phones while they're driving. I know I'm not alone on that one, but it makes me mental. So yeah, I hope you guys will subscribe and kind of follow along, see where this thing goes. I'm going to try to be pretty active, upload quite a bit. There are some beautiful spots to ride around this area. I'll try to keep the scenery kind of fresh. I do a lot of riding on the weekends and stuff, and a lot of little overnight trips and stuff. In fact, I think this weekend I'm going to go camping. I'm just not 100% sure if I'm going to do it on the bike. It's going to depend on if I can get somebody to take care of my dog for me for the one night. It's usually not a problem. So hopefully this Saturday we're having breakfast at my mom's house. My uncle's in town, and then I'm hoping, if it all goes according to plan, to go straight from there, hit the road, and go camp for one night, maybe two, probably just one. So we shall see.